Hi, Jarrett Lau here with the Landlord Tutor. So, a lot of my investors, clients, and students are going to be trying to make decisions on where they buy their first investment property or, more or less where they're going to be building their portfolio. And they're always going to ask me, Jarrett, where should I buy? And if I had a magic 8 ball, I'd be able to tell them really easily, but it really depends on the risk tolerance of each single investor or landlord. And I say that because, again, if your risk tolerance is really low and you're just looking for somewhere to put your money safely and you're not looking for that crazy cash flow and maybe you really like blue chip areas, maybe you'll pick those type A areas. At least in the Boston area, you have those really expensive areas like Newton or Beacon Hill or Back Bay. Very high rents, high demand, but very, very high purchase prices. And again, the returns just aren't going to be there as much. And maybe the increases when it comes to appreciation is there, but it might not be as crazy as an area that's coming from C or to the B areas. I always like to name my areas A, B, and C, right? B areas might be more student-y type of areas, pretty solid as well. They're not blue chip, but they're going to have high demand, pretty high expenses when it comes to purchasing the property as well, but you're always going to have that, but you have that high demand from students or hospitals and things of that nature. Good areas, not blue chip, still coming on up, not A areas, maybe the return's a little bit better, risk is a little bit higher as well. Next up are the areas such as the C areas. They're up and coming areas like Revere in Boston or perhaps Medford, and these areas that are pretty nice, but they're coming up. They're not B's yet, they're A's, right? And your risk to be able to rent those out are a little bit higher. Your risk versus reward. Maybe the appreciation is there as well. I say, Jarrett, well, that's great. Maybe why wouldn't I do the C areas? Because again, you might be dealing with a different type of clientele. They might not make as much, perhaps they're minorities. Nothing wrong with any of that. It's just a different type of management and time that goes into it, and to be able to handle those type of clients, transactions, and maybe people, right? And then again, as you go down, there's D, E, F areas. And those areas might be a lot harder to manage, right? You're gonna have to deal with different type of clientele. And then again, no issues with that. Thousands of great tenants and people that live in those units. But just be aware as a landlord, as you're picking your areas, what you wanna get out of your property, how much time you wanna put in, and also your risk versus reward tolerance. And when you figure that out, you're able to try to go check those areas out. When you check those areas out, always be comfortable with it regardless, right? Even if you pay someone else to help manage it, be comfortable with it, be proud of it. And I always say that as a landlord. So if you or anyone else you know is looking to try to figure out where to buy your next investment property, think of the Landlord Tutor, and I'd be happy to help guide you through the process. You've reached the end of this video, and you are now one step closer to becoming the landlord that you want to be. With easy to follow guides and self-paced exercises crafted from decades of experience, you're sure to learn everything you need to know and nothing that you don't. Check out the description for more details.